Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be on the new hero Kayson. We do have a trial version and I pulled one and then put two pots in one because it helped with speed as well for the dungeon. I tried to fully book, fully ascend to get the full potential out of this guy, but we're limited to our own resources, which really sucks. I've tried to save up so I could show this, but sadly I'm not able to show you him A5, which I think would matter in Ash. I think everyone knows that he's an Ash specialist, but I have to say he kind of conflicts. It's weird, you know, but I'll show you that in practice. But I did want to bring you this video because I don't think you should summon for him. I think you should honestly just wait until the dungeons get nerfed. They're overtuned. The mechanics are just all over the place. They tried to make a guy that works for it, but he still kind of doesn't. And we'll go through why. So, almost fully booked. He is missing his ability on the ultimate, which could matter, and then additional stats, which also could matter. But I think the A5 is the most important thing. So let's talk about that. So his trait gives him 2 rage at the start of the battle and 1 rage anytime an enemy dies. This does count if your teammate heroes also kill somebody. He gains that 1 rage. He doesn't need to kill them. So that is good. And it says when casting a basic ability and ultimate ability, each rage increases his attack by 5% and adds an additional targeted enemy. So for each rage that he has, he gets the 5%. He can max at 4. So on unascended, he can get up to 20% additional attack. And then with each rage, he targets an additional enemy. It's similar to Nathalia with her buffs. She's single targeting people, but if she has more buffs, she targets more people, but it's still considered a single target ability, which is important with the other part of his effect here. If he has 4 rage, he targets all enemies, again, similar to Nathalia. If she has more than 4 buffs, she targets any amount of heroes. It doesn't matter if there's 20 or 40. If he has 4 rage, he's going to target all 40 of them. And then it says 1 rage is removed for every 1 enemy targeted. He only targets 1 person, so he only loses 1 rage whenever he targets somebody with his basic or ultimate. So that is important. When he's ascended, his attack buff goes from 5% to 15%. It's just crazy. So you're going from 20 to 60%. That's definitely going to matter in 19 and 20 for sure. So his basic ability, pretty good. It deals 120% damage to an enemy and then gains random attack stats up. This is a good basic, although it does not hit very hard. I will say that the extension to the buffs might matter, but I am short, and the dungeon isn't open, and I don't want to spend gems to open it, so it is what it is. So he has this passive, which was 100% just made for Ash Magisteria. It says, reduces damage taken by 100% when an enemy launches a counterattack. Now, the thing that's important here, this passive pertains to the rest of your team members. So if they trigger the counterattack by Ash, they will take 1 damage. And then his passive activates. This kind of read similar to Rosalie, where I thought if he was attacked by a fire hero, he launches a counterattack. But it's not that. You need to trigger the counterattack from Ash to trigger this. And that's part of the trickiness of this hero. Because the other part is, this is a 1-round cooldown. Now, it is the most infuriating thing trying to build a team that does enough attacks to the boss to trigger this counterattack passive, but not too many attacks where you launch his counterattack twice, because it's a 1-round cooldown. So that means if Ash Magisteria counterattacks you twice, the second counterattack will ignore all defense and kill you, especially if Kayson is the one that takes the counterattack. But what that counterattack is it deals 130% damage to an enemy, when it's booked. And then the damage increases based on the number of surviving enemies. Damage against bosses increases by 100%. This deals a lot of damage. It's very impressive how much damage he does. It's just the rest of your team either can't kill the imps fast enough, but if you do that, what I've run into is Kayson doesn't have enough damage potential to clear waves, and then the waves kill him. So that's very frustrating. But anyway, let's continue. So his ultimate deals 220% damage to one enemy, but again, if he has the rage, he's AoEing people. He restores health equal to 30% of the damage, which is really good because he is squishy and he needs some sustain. It says on each ability cast, if the hero has 4 rage, it then launches a bonus attack with the special ability, which is that counterattack, AoE that we saw here. So again, that does really good damage. And this ability resets when the rage is full. This is really important for you to continue to kill imps. Because if you don't, this ultimate has a really long cooldown. So this is what I'm working with. So I got him in Assassin Raider, right? With some decent gear on him. I think some of the gear is impressive. Some of the other gear is, I guess, okay. His overall stats, he's at 6,600 attack, 4,000 crit damage, and then 192 speed. So let's take a minute. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, okay? So I've done all different kinds of iterations on 19. And he can definitely clear 18 and 17 very easily. It's just, you already have Rosalie who can do that already. So, why spend money on a hero that's a specialist in a dungeon that can do the same thing as Rosalie, who, helps you clear Rift of Chaos, helps you in Arena, helps you in Tulpa, you get my point. Okay, so let's just try this first team first, and I'll show you with the amount of counterattacks how it becomes an issue. So here, I have this team in here, Atar for the cleanse, Flarence for the additional damage and healing. And yeah, we're going to get to the boss and we're going to show you. So I need enough damage here because Kayson doesn't have enough damage to actually clear these waves. And if he gets hit by one of these big fire imps, he dies so easily. So you really got to push HP, attack, crit damage. It's very stat intensive. But okay, so here you see he almost died. And he has a lot of help with damage. So if you don't have any other damage dealers, I think you can see how this is going to pan out. Okay. So the boss has this, attack, rage, countering blow meter, right? Here's Kayson. He triggered the counterattack, counterattacks himself, and then does the bonus attack from his passive, and then also from Flarence. So right now, he's got a couple more attacks before he counterattacks again. So Flarence healing is actually really huge, so she doesn't attack twice. Here is the first countering blow, okay? No damage, and then Kayson counterattacks. Then Rosalie goes, but the second counterattack is now up. See? So if you trigger Ash twice, Kayson's passive is irrelevant. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? So you're thinking to yourself, okay, I need to bring in not as many attacks because we don't want Kayson to trigger Ash too many times, right? So here, we don't have any healing, which is going to be a problem. But actually, no, wrong team. I want to show you with Kayson why it's important that you bring enough damage. So we'll bring in, the typical Rosalie, Atara, Badmar composition. So this is going to be part of the problem because I don't think we're going to have enough damage in this team to clear these waves, and Kayson is most likely going to die on the waves. So here, you're kind of seeing he doesn't do enough damage to the waves himself, at least without Ascension 5, right? Where you're kind of depending on Rosalie. So we got lucky with a deflect. And obviously the Atara is really helping with the attack down. So let's see if we can actually get through the waves here. That's where he's doing his bonus attacks because he reached his max rage. That allows him to bonus attack with the AoE, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we're at the boss. So here, we need enough attacks to trigger his counterattack, or we're not going to clear the imps. So there's the bonus attack, and then we got the counterattack. Awesome. So then he goes in, and that's where the A5 actually would help, because he would clear those imps, and you wouldn't need Rosalie to counterattack, right? Because the counterattack, as we saw with the previous team, hurts you sometimes if you attack too many times. So this is the first trigger of the counterattack. 0 damage. And then Kayson counterattacks. Then he goes. And again, not enough damage, but we are going to get enough out of the Rosalie. But it's also going to work against us in regards to too many counterattacks on the boss. Okay, so he's almost back around to his counterattack again. So here's the first counterattack. We go again. Then Rosalie goes. But now, too many bonus attacks, he dies again. Like, all of the attacks are good, right? But if you don't trigger enough damage to clear the wave or clear the imps. Now, the next thing that people are probably thinking is, okay, bring in less attack, but bring in enough damage with like a Rosalie. Not Rosalie, Savannah. So let's try this. Let's try Savannah with Florence, where you're going to try and get enough bonus attacks out of your team, but you need enough damage from Kayson to clear the waves. So hopefully with Kayson and Atara, we can clear the waves. So here, eventually the Savannah is going to die. Boost up the Kayson. And we need Kayson to try and clear these 3 heroes. Okay, so enough damage there. We probably got some lucky assassin procs. Okay, so now we get to the boss, right? So now we're going to have the issue of not having enough attacks to trigger the counterattack to then kill the imps. So there's 1 attack, 2 attacks. Kayson goes. Attack, bonus attack, bonus attack. Thankfully, we killed the imps because we didn't have enough damage to trigger, or enough attacks to trigger the counterattack. So there's the first one. Very good. Hopefully we don't trigger it again. But as you already see, triggered it again. And he already used his ultimate, so he didn't heal at all. Like I'm trying to find the right balance. Without Flarence, I can't bring in somebody like let's try one more team. So let's bring in somebody like Oderic. Not Oderic. I always say Oderic whenever I'm talking about Badmar. Bring in Badmar. So we just had enough damage to clear the waves with Flarence, right? But we keep seeing Flarence adds too many bonus attacks. But here, like, we are nowhere near being able to clear this wave. So we got to hope that we can survive. And as you saw there, he can't survive. He needs to do enough damage or be bulky enough to survive the imps, but then he's not going to have enough damage to clear the wave or clear the imps from the boss. So I've just been rattling my brain, trying to figure this out, because you need a cleanse, right? You need a cleanse for your team for the bombs and the ignites. You need someone to heal you enough. Unless you go like full revival on your supports, that might be a thing. I'm trying to think of what else. I just haven't seen enough where you get enough damage out of your team, but you heal and you don't trigger the counterattacks, from the boss. I think I even tried to do something like Flarence and then Blackhorn. So I would have a cleanse here. I think I tried this, and there's a couple teams where I don't get enough attacks off, and without Rosalie, I can't kill the imps, which then is a separate problem. So I think I've tried this comp. Maybe I have issues with the waves here too. Okay, so that was enough splash damage from the Flarence. But another thing that I'm noticing is when it comes to splash damage, and maybe this is a bug, but as you saw there, whenever he was killing enemies with splash damage, he's not getting his rage. So, it's so hard to say what this hero can do. But here, you see here, right? He didn't have the full rage, so he didn't target all the enemies. So it looks like the splash of the bug is affecting him here. It's just, I haven't found a composition that makes him work. I told you I'll put this hero up. I'll just do it right now, where he's going to be the support for everybody. Go in, give him a test, see if you have some heroes that I don't have or whatever. And try and do it without LDs or something, guys, for the community. Oh, you can't. Oh, man. You can't put a trial hero up? I'm so sorry about that. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I'll test them throughout the day. I'll try and post the results or whatever. But, yep. My recommendation for now, unless you can ascend A5 this hero, I probably wouldn't pull for him. Sadly. But anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for checking it out. Catch you next time. See ya.